Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video. And today's video arrives in probably the most me fashion possible, a day after everyone's already had their say and reacted to it. But in my defence, one, it was sunny yesterday, so I was trying to enjoy whatever sunshine there is in this glorious old country we call home. And two, there was a small part of me that heard this news, that saw this news, that read this news, that truly believed it was some sort of sick, twisted, late April Fool's joke, and I decided to give it a couple of hours. Then that led into a full day waiting for the attempted joke to land, because if there is one person on this planet that knows all about jokes no landing, it's me, ladies and gentlemen. So I was waiting in complete disbelief, but I knew that it's not a joke. Knew it's clear that it's real, and knew we know it's happening or going to get voted on next month. Let's go ahead and talk about this SPFL League Reconstruction. But I do know not everyone lives chronically online, so you might be a wee bit confused of what we're talking about today. Well, don't worry, strap yourselves in, that's what we're here to discuss. Whether you've heard it or you've no, we'll hopefully discover new ground and have your say on this upcoming, impending, possible league reconstruction. But just in case you don't know what we're talking about here, the SPFL has brought a new proposal that will be happening in the next month at the next meeting regarding the future of Scottish football. And do you know how every single person that supports any club in the Scottish football old pyramid, everyone and their hamster has been saying this country, this league, the top flight of Scottish football needs to be increased because Scottish football's in the dark ages and it's getting left behind, not just for championship sides in England, but even League One now in terms of revenue. Do you know how we've all said that it's so boring and so repetitive? We need fresh blood and fresh fixtures in the top flight. Well, the guys that are getting paid a hell of a lot of money have came with a new proposal. You know, the likes of Neil Doncaster, who's got a ridiculous wage coming in every single year. They've heard that, they've seen what we've said, they've seen what we've wanted in their plans. Instead of giving us more fixtures and fresh ideas and giving Scottish football a new lick of paint, their idea of moving this country forwards is to go backwards and reduce the league from 12 down to 10. You know, the thing they done opposite about 25 years ago. That's right. And even as I say this, and even as I film today's video, it just sounds absolutely ridiculous to even be wasting any of our times. But the plan, or the initial plan, or the proposed plan, I should say, is to move it from 12 teams down to 10 and reduce the fixtures from 38 to 36 and get rid of the top 6 split. That's how they think will reinvent and reinvigorate Scottish football and get people from elsewhere actually paying attention to it. Less teams, less games, more repetitive fixtures. Oh boy, how lucky we are. Now granted, I may have let my opinion slip out a couple of times as I've tried to discuss this plan, but see, before I really give you my opinions whilst breaking down the other plans, because this is their preferred plan and that's the option they think is best for Scottish football, but there is two other plans that they've talked about which we will discuss later on in today's video. But before we get anywhere near that, I want to know how you're feeling about it, right? If this is your first time hearing it, or you've been going over it the last 24 hours in your mind, maybe you went up here and reacted but then you read it and you think it's actually no bad. Genuinely, do you think the best way to fix Scottish football, reinvent it, reinvigorate it, is to reduce the teams from 12 to 10 with less games and getting rid of the split? Very interested, yes or no, down in the comment section below. And whilst you go ahead and do that, we will touch on a couple other things, because again, the meeting is next month and it will require 11 of the top 12 clubs to go ahead and vote if this thing is ever going to get passed, which genuinely seems like it's dead in the water already in my opinion. But it's not just the top flight that we need to consider, right? Clearly that would be getting reconstructed. Clearly the majority of us will be Rangers fans, but there'll be other supporters at other clubs watching today's video as well. I hope that's not just shouting me down in the comment section below that it will clearly affect, but it goes deeper than that as well, because it's not just the top flight that would be getting changed, it would also be changing the championship as well. And I know not many people pay attention to the championship, but it's been actually pretty damn interesting this season. There's been some great games, some great goals, some mad moments in it all. It's been probably a more interesting league than the top flight of Scottish football so far this season, in terms of almost every team having an incredible moment or an incredible story. But it would also be changing the championship, as it would also change that to 10 teams as well, which means the next division down would just sort of be chucked together and be a much larger league, almost like that drawer that's got some random keys that nobody knows what opens anymore, along with the old bits and bobs that are just slam shut and long forgotten about. That's the way they think will fix the old Scottish football. Now, it is worth noting that not only does the SPFL require 11 of the top 12 clubs to agree to even try and get this plan in motion, but they also require 75% of all 42 membership clubs agreeing on this, which again is never ever going to happen. It's why I mentioned earlier it's dead on arrival as well. And I know this could be a very easy video, and I could have maybe just summed it up in a tweet and be like, yeah, that's no gonna happen. Yeah, that's absolutely nonsensical. And again, that is how I feel about the issue. But again, how many times is this going to come up? How many times are the people that's getting paid a hell of a lot of money from our league, that's bleeding our league dry, coming up with these crazy bad concepts that get rejected, and then a year or two later come back with an even worse one that Disney do nothing? What are these guys that's getting paid all this money for from our league actually doing to improve it? None. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sick of sitting here every couple years with the exact same league reconstruction, but it's not what we want, or it's not going to improve this. It's all completely backwards, and it gets shot down in a meeting and nobody agrees on it, right? And I know it would be very easy just to say, no, it's not going to happen. I get it, but my frustration and my point is, why are the same people continually getting the options to come up with these bad brain-dead ideas? You know what I mean? They just keep going about their business and coming up with these bad things, justifying their 400 grand a year, all this crap that they get paid, while Scottish football clubs are just arguing and fighting with themselves constantly here while the inmates are running the asylum up here. See, if you take a step back and look at it, ladies and gentlemen, if you all just stop arguing with each other for a split second and just go, oh, the ones that are taking money from this league to improve it are doing nothing but dragging us backwards / wasting our time and wasting our money. Maybe we should identify and try to get fresh ideas and fresh perspectives and fresh people running this league that's not only now behind the likes of the championships in terms of revenue and eyes watching it and everything like that, but now you're talking about League One in some of these places. You know what I mean? That's where the standard is, that's where the revenue is, that's where we are, that's how far we've fallen. We're not near the top leagues anymore, we're not even in the championship in England, we're down here in the gutter. But again, everyone accepts it because Rangers and Celtics here, Aberdeen Rangers here, Aberdeen this, Hibs and Hearts are all just constantly, well, the idiots drag your game through the muck and they get away with murder, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why truly I wanted to speak about it, because again, I could have summed up in a tweet and be like, no, it's idiotic and it'll never ever happen. But my point and my question of this entire video is, why do we continue to allow these guys to run Scottish football? At what point does anybody truly, with a bit of sway at all, ask what the hell is going on and who is leading the charge? Because we've not got leaders now. They're just pulling us backwards year upon year upon year whilst their wages are going up. Does it make sense to anybody else? It doesn't to me. And I know there will be a couple people say, well, they've also mentioned 14 and 16, so you not mention that yet? Hold your horses there, Bullseye. We're going ahead and getting there, because even the way they went ahead and discussed, that feels like they're just treating us like daft wee wains, right? Because they've came out and they've put their name behind, they're pushing what they actually want, which is the 10 league reconstruction, 38 down to 36 when they split. That's what they want. But they've also went, we'll also discuss maybe the 14 league expansion or maybe the 16. You know, the things you want and everything like that, they keep crying about year upon year. Yeah, we'll touch on that when we get to the minutes, or if there's a wee coffee break or somebody goes to the toilet. That's just treating us like game, like daft wee wains. Because the thing that us, the ones that pay money to go to the games, the ones that pay money to buy merchandise, the ones that pay money to support their football clubs, are just getting treated like, yeah, we'll touch on what yous actually want later. But we like this. It's nonsense, ladies and gentlemen. But again, I do think and I do hope the actual plans have a wee bit more details on it, because they've not really released any, because again, they've told us what they want today, whilst mentioning they will discuss potentially expanding it elsewhere. But the 14 and the 16 for me is the way to go, and it's the only way to really save Scottish football and at least add in fresh injection of life in a league, in my personal opinion. And I know each and every one of them has drawbacks, and I know everyone's not a perfect fix. For instance, if you go to 16, that's bringing up 4 teams from the likes of the championship, and they're going to be obviously financially behind the other teams. And I've seen the drawbacks. But who wants to watch that? Who wants to watch that? Well, we don't know who wants to watch that. You know what I mean? No, seeing the same team every 6 weeks might actually be a bit of fresh air, and it might get people more interested in Scottish football. And I've said this many times about the championship. That's why my league prediction videos, I always pay a wee bit of respect to the teams that go ahead and win the championship. People need to stop turning their nose up to the teams that win the championship, because see, if you lower that nose and you pay attention to what's actually happening, the gap between the top of the championship and the bottom 8 of the SPFL isn't that big, and it's nowhere near as big as people want to pretend that it actually is. And if you need facts to back up that, look at every team that's winning the championship, how they're doing when they come up. Now, I know the likes of Dundee is now struggling in 11th place, but they've lost the likes of Luke McCowan, they're losing Lyle Cameron, they've been unlucky with injuries here or there as well, right? But you talk about their first season back, how great they were, how difficult they made it. You look at the likes of the Kilmarnocks, the Hibs, the etc. You look at the way these teams bounce up for the championship, how they perform and the points they take off other teams. 9 times out of 10, even the likes of Dundee United, not to even still right now, if we would have gone, they continually show the jumps not that big. So for me, when I look at that fairly, and I'm talking about bringing in teams with great support, you know what I mean? You're talking about the likes of Falkirk and Dunfermline. Livingston's not really got a great support, however they are a very well run club and they're always a difficult team to play. That's adding freshness in to a league, that's adding more fan bases, more eyes, and more importantly different teams to play, so it's not again boring and repetitive playing the same teams time upon time upon time. That's the way I think would move this league forward and eventually improve it. I'm not saying it's going to fix it overnight, because it will take time, there will be a bedding in period, but surely it's better to reach for that and give more teams opportunities to play in the top flight, more teams to get these parachute payments, more time to get these structure payments, more time to try and fight for Europe, rather than limiting the league even lower and just trying to cling on for dear life, which is incredibly short-sighted. We need the Old Firmie, we need the Edinburgh Derbies, we need this for Scottish football. Just open it up a bit and give teams a fair chance and a fair crack at it, and that's the way, in my opinion, that adds to a more competitive league, and that for me makes it a more attractive league, which will then get people more interested in watching it. And that's just how I feel, ladies and gentlemen. It needs to be expanded, not reduced, in my opinion, and all the potential pros seem like really short-sighted nonsense that doesn't benefit this country long term. And I think if you look at how we've been run for too long now, and I'm not just turning this into a Rangers fan versus the SPFL, and we wanted Doncaster gone, we wanted them investigated. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. I'm just talking about if you look at how this league's been running and the poor deals and all that we've signed that may look record on paper, but it's because the same idiots have been taking us backwards for too long. You look at the money elsewhere in the way that other leagues are making money with the eyes, and even the Sky deal that's continually gets propped up like it's good, even though 4 days later it was made obsolete by the likes the championship. Everyone needs to stop hating itself to death. Scottish football needs to stop doing that and just look up a wee bit and just realise how much this country and this league and this football and pyramid is getting dragged back by people that shouldn't be in a Joe Berry but continually get protected because everyone's too busy arguing with each other. But that's my opinion on the league subtraction, I should say, rather than the proposed expansion that every single fan I know actually wants to see eventually implemented. But again, it is just a meeting that's coming up the next month. I'm expecting it to be shot down very quickly, so I don't think we'll ever see the 10 or anything like that in terms of league titles or league format. But moving on from there, we also have another wee inkling of some confirmed news that the SPFL has put in place, as they have confirmed that now, going forward from the 2026 season, they will be able to postpone fixtures to help teams qualify for European competitions. Now, woosah, didn't get angry, Craig, didn't get angry. I'm no gonna go there, but the fact that this is just happening now, when the likes of our Champions League qualifier teams have had the likes of PSV and all these teams having weeks off in between our games. Meanwhile, we've been playing Thursday, Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday, etc. through these, is genuinely laughable. But I guess if you take all that bitterness away for a minute, is it good to finally see us catch up with every other league in world football? Of course it is, ladies and gentlemen. We're truly out the dark ages in terms of that and helping our teams try to qualify, which again is a betterment for this league. So it's about time, but it's very ironic with the old timing, if you catch my drift. But that's my personal opinion. It's betterment of Scottish football. Finally, that's something in the right direction, but they released that whilst talking about Sarden, isn't it? And maybe that's the perfect summary of who's leading the old Scottish football pyramid. But that's my personal opinion on all today's subjects. Hopefully you let me know yours down in the comments section below. I know it's not just Rangers related, but it obviously impacts Rangers in a massive way, as this is the league. And do I think this could got any potential chance of being accepted? No, because not only is it nonsensical, I honestly truly believe that clubs will also not give up the Old Firm paydays at least 4 times a season, and that's a big part of the problem as well. People say, oh, it's no that and all that if they want, but they can do all their wee talks and chota, they can do their wee threads and all that crap, but the only stat and statistic that matters is the tendencies when Old Firm comes to town, and if you look at it, the money that they make is more than they make from anybody else. So they're willing to give up at least 4 paydays like that a year? No, they haven't been. So people need to look at their own clubs as well when they're talking about the problems with league expansions and league this and league that. It's also a wee bit of that as well, where people are clinging on for the Old Firm payday, but that needs to be gone, that needs to be done, and a line needs to be drawn, and it surely needs to be expanded. I want to see more teams, I want to see fresh ideas, I want to see fresh fixtures. They're no meaningless games. Give them a chance up here and let's see what actually can happen, because it's simply not sustainable what we're doing. We're getting nowhere but backwards in viewership, and that is shocking. So aye, that's my opinions on it. What about you? Let me know down in the old comments section below, and as always, I've been CJ92. Thank you so much for watching, all the best, and bye bye.